let's start off with the news that seemed pretty inevitable based off the early reports we were hearing shortly after the last preseason game on Nate Herbig, and that is he's out for the season with a torn rotator cuff. Like, that's what it seemed to be a couple days ago, and now it's just made official. Steelers put him on the season-ending IR list. So that opens up the door for Zach Frazier to be the Steelers starting center for Week 1. This is tough for Nate Herbig, man. This is tough. Even though I didn't necessarily want him to be the Steelers starting center this year, I wanted to see Zach Frazier. This is not the way that I wanted it to happen. And I got to give Nate Herbig a shout out here. I thought this would be Zach Frazier's job running away this offseason, but the Steelers rolled with Nate Herbig with the ones ever since OTAs and then throughout training camp and even these preseason games. And I got to give him credit. He played well. Now, could you argue if Zach Frazier outplayed him or deserves to be the Steelers starting center for Week 1? Yeah, that's a different conversation, and a conversation at this point not even worth having because it's going to be Zach Frazier because of Nate Herbig's injury. But, yeah, I got to give him a shout out. I think he played well, but it also sucks for the team too because he's a nice, versatile piece. He could play center. He could play guard if any of these dudes got hurt. He might even be able to play tackle. I don't know if – am I just thinking Spencer Anderson? Because I know Anderson can play all across the line. Herbig's versatile too, but is he on the interior? Either way, like, he's a nice chess piece to have. Like his floor at least being the, like, next up depth of lineman for us. If Isaac Seumalo went down with an injury, you could just plug and play Nate Herbig. If James Daniel went down with an injury, put in Nate Herbig. If Zach Frazier, if he did end up starting and Nate Herbig was still healthy and Frazier went down, put in Nate Herbig. So that sucks, man. That sucks. We did not need this to happen at all. Really unfortunate. Now this just leaves the door open for guys like Spencer Anderson or Mason McCormick to make their names as depth interior offensive linemen, depth interior versatile offensive linemen. So we'll see what they can do if their name is called. But for now, the starters still look solid. I think, depending on what we do at this tackle spot. But Zach Frazier at center, Seumalo on the left guard side, James Daniel right guard, left tackle, I think Dan Moore, right tackle, I don't even know. Because Broderick Jones said he's as healthy as he's going to get. That's not good news based off what we've seen in these two preseason games, particularly the last preseason game. If that's as healthy as you're going to get, not saying you can't play better with whatever injuries, multiple injuries he says that he has than what we just saw, but, that was not a good sign. That was not a good sign because we were wondering what the deal was with Broderick, too, last game. Was it injuries that really aren't being reported or being talked about? Is that the reason you played the way that you did, or was it just you weren't really interested? We didn't know. So it seems like injuries could be used as an excuse to why Broderick looked the way that he did, but it's not good news to hear him say that he's as healthy as he's going to get. What? If that's the best we're going to get from you in terms of health-wise, and it looked like that? But Tomlin said no excuses. So there's that. I don't know what we're going to do at right tackle. Maybe this is a good year for Broderick Jones to sit out when Week 1 rolls around and maybe sit out for the whole first month, the whole first half of the season. Maybe he can get healthier. Because maybe he's just saying he's as healthy as he's going to get because he assumes he's going to be starting and playing 100% of the snaps. But if he were to sit a month, 6 weeks, he can actually get healthy. But if Troy Fautanu playing good at right tackle and Dan Moore's playing good at left, there might not be an opening for Broderick at that point in the season. So I could see why he would want to push through these injuries and be out there because you don't want them to see what it looks like without you. I get that. I truly do, but if we're going to get more of what Broderick Jones was putting out there last Saturday night, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But let's get talking about this quarterback spot. I don't think there's a quarterback controversy, but the Steelers quarterback position is all the rave for national media conversations right now. And I get it. We're into the second week of preseason. You got the Ayuk talk that's still floating out around there. I don't even know what's going on with him. I really do. Like, what's going on with him right now? I can tell you this. He's not signed with the 49ers, and he's not traded to the Steelers. So where does that leave us? In the exact same spot we were last week. Because I'm to the point I'm not even looking up any reports or rumors or stuff that has to deal with Ayuk. Just tell me when something happens. That's where I'm at. I know a lot of you guys were at that point maybe a week ago or weeks ago, but now I'm officially there, even as like a content guy, and talking about this stuff ain't gonna hurt me, right? Like Brandon Ayuk, it's been a hot news topic, but screw that, man. It's not even worth the energy anymore. But outside of that, what is there really to talk about that's captivating or interesting from the national standpoint? I guess you could even say from a local standpoint or a Steeler fan standpoint. I don't think there's really a controversy, but from a national standpoint, yeah, let's talk about Russell Wilson versus Justin Fields. We can have a whole 10-minute segment on that. But no, I don't really think it's anything. I don't. It's Russell Wilson, QB1, week 1. He's going to be starting in this third preseason game. I think all the starters on offense are going to be out there, and as they should be, to try to clean up the mess that was Saturday night against the Bills. But I really don't think there's much controversy. I think Russell Wilson's your answer. And from all right, if you want to break it down like this, you got national media people trying to stir the pot and saying like, oh, Justin Fields should start. He's the better fit for this offense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at it from people that are close to the Steelers situation, like local reporters and stuff, or from a successful coach's standpoint, they're saying it's Russ, and it's like not even debate, because you had Bill Cowher and Bill Belichick go on Pat McAfee, give their endorsement for Russell Wilson being the guy.
Yeah, I think I look at the first two games. The only thing I would just say is I think Russell Wilson, I don't know how totally healthy, how much they really wanted to open up the offense under Arthur Smith. I think Arthur is saving a lot of these things. But I think with Russell Wilson, you start the season with Russell. And I say it for this reason. Justin Fields, you know what? If he starts as a second guy, have a package of plays. Let Justin, if all of a sudden you need a spark, something to kind of incite you, get your offense going again, put him in. If you have to take Russell out, he's been there before. It's not going to destroy his confidence.
Belichick even said, it's not Russell Wilson's fault, really. It's the offensive line and the running game. Those are the bigger problems for the Steelers offense from the looks of it thus far, at least this early in the game.
Well, I think the number one thing in Coach Tomlin's mind is taking care of the football. Don't turn it over. And that's something that Russell is very good at. I think there are probably more concerns about that with Fields. But look, I think they have bigger problems at the quarterback position. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that the defense is a pretty solid unit. The offensive line, had a hard time. They need to get the running game going. They have good backs. They need to get those backs started. Russell's good out of the pocket. He'll be able to, hit those play action passes. I thought the throw he made to Pickens in the game was what Russell Wilson is. He's one of the best downfield throwers in the league.
And then Jerry Dulac goes on the Rich Eisen show, and he confirms that it's Russell Wilson. It's always been Russell Wilson. That's why they sat him out with the calf injury for this long, because they have that much faith in him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Rich. I mean, this position isn't up for debate. And even though some people want to think that it is, but, I mean, he was asked about his health the other day, and he said, he's feeling much better. Well, I mean, I've been told all along that he's felt much better for a couple weeks now. He strained that calf muscle, and it wasn't, and I tell everybody it wasn't a Joe Burrow injury, but they didn't want it to become a Joe Burrow injury. And that's why at age 35, they were just being really cautious with him. But, when you've watched him in training camp or when you see him do individual drills and everything, I mean, he moves fine.
And that was always my question going back 2-3 weeks ago when we saw Justin Fields out there in training camp and him continuing to put out good performances while Russell Wilson remained limited. Like, we saw the upside. We saw the ceiling with Justin Fields. Like, we saw what this offense could be with him. So I was just wondering to myself, like, why are we sitting out Russ? Is Tomlin legit having a wandering eye and is going to potentially start Fields or make this a legit open competition? Or does he have that much faith in Russ that it's going to be Russ no matter what? And it looks like the latter is the case. Because even if you want to go off of on the field in these 2 preseason games, what Russell Wilson did in those 4 series versus what Justin Fields' body of work has been, I think you lean Russ. I don't know. Russ hasn't had any mistakes. Russ hasn't been not as in command as Justin Fields has been. And then Russ also has his career tenure. Where's the debate? Where's the debate right now? It'd be cool if this was an open competition. We were having legit conversations about whether or not Fields is better for this offense. But I don't know how you can say that based off the total context at play here going into week 1. I don't know. I don't know how you could say that. But I think that's it for today's edition of Big Deke News. Covered a lot of topics here. Nate Herbig out for the season. Broderick Jones saying he's as healthy as he's going to get. We got quarterback talk. We even got some Ayuk talk thrown in there, even though it wasn't really much talk. It's just, hey, we're in the same spot. I don't even need to look at the reports. I don't even need to look at where things are shifting one way or another. Just let me know when it happens. Let me know when it happens. So stay chilling and peace.